Hello, all you guys, gals, and pals. Welcome to another episode of Live from the Blue Seats. It's producer JL here with Dave coming at you again in the middle of the Olympics. And we're about a week away from some more New York Rangers hockey. And I probably stand with everyone else in saying, holy crap, I can't believe it went by so quick. How do we make this end quicker? Dave, how the heck are you doing?
So, I mean, we have one more week until Rangers hockey. Oh, Joey, I can't wait.
Can't wait.
But I do actually have to start with an apology.
Oh,
Because I realized I dropped the ball big time. So, last week, remember the question about whether or not we could put up game threads for the Olympics. And obviously, I screwed up the first time around because I forgot the game. And then I forgot another one where I thought it was a 9:10 start, but that was local time. It was a 3:10 start here. So that was one. And I just realized today I completely screwed up in putting up game threads for the women's hockey as well. And to be direct, the women's hockey has been far better than the men's hockey right now.
phenomenal.
So and USA Canada's. I love that rivalry. It's just phenomenal. It's amazing.
Never disappointed.
Yeah, and I completely dropped the ball on that. I own that, and hopefully in 4 years I'll be a little bit more interested in the Olympics as a whole to remember to do it for both teams. But my bad. I wanted to take that and own that. That's my fault. Won't happen again.
Well, if you want to know, there is a game tomorrow at 3:10 Eastern. It's United States versus Czechia.
Yes, that one. Is it Slovakia?
Is it Slovakia? I think it's
Slovakia.
Is it Slovakia? What the USA hockey.
I only know that.
Yes, it is Slovakia. No, you're right. Yeah. It is Slovakia. I thought it was Czechia for a second.
It's Slovakia, and I put a $5 bet on Slovakia to win at plus 550 because Team USA there's something about that team. I don't know what it is. I don't think they're going to medal. I think Slovakia is going to pull the upset, and at plus 550 with how bad Team USA has looked, it's decent value. Not bad, but not like they should have. I don't know. I don't know what it is. They just don't. They don't look like Canada, for lack of a better phrase.
Well, look. To be fair, it doesn't matter what the United States does, who they bring over. I mean, granted, they should have brought over, Jason Robertson, Cole Caulfield, just to name a few. But it doesn't matter. Canada's going to be Canada either way. It's a bit different with the women's teams because that's probably a little bit more even than, let's say, the men's teams, because the USA hockey, at least on the women's side, has soared through over the years, and they have a lot of similar talented play. Like the talent pool is very similar to Canada, so they're more on equals, which is why the games are really so good. It's not to say that the men's team isn't up to par with Canada. It's just the management's different. Hockey Canada thought it was a good idea to bring best player available, and it's done them well in this tournament so far. For some reason, I don't know why Billy Guerin decided to bring over, not your best players, because they played a good team in Sweden and they had a scoring problem. It's supposed to be, this is supposed to be the time when defense isn't really a thing. You're supposed to put the puck in the back of the net as much as you can. But I will say, though, that USA has done fairly well for themselves for the most part. You need more production from, I feel like I'm talking about the Rangers. You need more production from the bottom six, because Brady Tkachuk is fine. Matthew Tkachuk is fine. Jack Eichel's fine. Gensel fine. Basically the top 2.5 lines are fine. But, when it comes down to having Vincent Trocheck, JT Miller, they're kind of nothing burgers, so to speak, but I digress with that. I mean, they looked okay. I mean, Miller didn't look terrible one of the games and early on, and Trocheck, I can notice him when he's there, but they haven't really done much. But that's okay. I don't think that they're there to be leading guys because you have Eichel, Tkachuk, and all the rest of these guys. But yes, if you're listening to this and you didn't know, Megan Keller, no relation to Clayton Keller, Megan Keller won the game against Canada in overtime, which a lot of people haven't really talked about how crazy it is that you have a gold medal game decided by a 20-minute overtime period, 3-on-3,
3-on-3,
which I find it to be even crazy. But if you see the replay, which we can't really post it on our own because the IOC would kill us. It was a
they would actually come to our houses
yeah.
and actually kill us. So yeah.
So basically, if you didn't see it, I can't remember who was down in the corner. Launched the pass all the way down to Keller, who was skating down the wing. And just from the angle off of it, it didn't really seem like she had much of a lane, but she put a really nice move on a defender and then put a backhand right under the armpit of the goalie, and it went into the back of the net. Talk about electric. That was a beautiful play.
Yeah.
And credit the game time goal too by Hillary Knight, who this is her last Olympics because she is retiring.
And she retires as the all-time leading scorer for Team USA.
For Team USA in women's hockey history, that is correct.
Yes.
She had this deflection out in front of the net. I thought that was incredible.
She tied the game with 2:30 left, right?
Yeah, about 2:30.
2:30, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. With about 2 and change remaining. But those games are really great. I love Olympic hockey. I guess with the men's team, I'm still a little bummed out. Adam Fox isn't here. I mean, maybe it's kind of a blessing in disguise. Hopefully, he'll be there in the next 4 years. I forget where they're.
Not if Bill Guerin has anything to say about it. Good God!
Well, if I know. If Bill Guerin is there in 4 years, then USA Hockey really needs a revamp. But the men's team has looked pretty good for the most part. They play hard. It's not a question of effort. It's more or less just can
no
the
skill?
defense. It's not even that. It's just
I'm having a little bit of fun on this one.
Yeah, I know. It's more or less just it's a very workmanlike team, and it's actually very similar to how Mike Sullivan would want his team to be put together, which we'll get into that in a second. But overall, it's been a very fun tournament. It's nice that when they are in Italy, the games are at reasonable times. I do remember in Beijing, where before the NHL players came back, it was really hard to kind of get with the team that they had because it was sort of basically very similar to what Canada does when they send out their team for the Spengler Cup. It is essentially just a bunch of guys in the AHL in college, which is originally how it was before. And they did that with the Americans, and they just didn't really do much. And ultimately, that tournament was won by the Olympic athletes of Russia, funny enough. But we've got the game. Well, this is going to be releasing on Friday, but so we say today, and then ultimately, hopefully, United States will either go to the gold medal game or, maybe potentially bronze, worst case scenario. So, but in relation to a couple of the guys that are on those teams, also, by the way, Mika Zibanejad had a great tournament. I think he had about 2 or 3 goals.
What a year it's been for him, calendar year from January, February to February, January, what do you want to call it? What a turnaround from the first 3 months of last season. Unbelievable.
He's been nothing but money, and I'm glad to see that not only has Mike Sullivan got the best out of him, but now you can make a case of, with the cap going up, you can still kind of keep him around. He doesn't seem like a net negative anymore. He's going to get older, of course, and production may slip. But if this is how he's going to play with this coach, then I think you've got yourself a pretty good, middle six center or winger who can play up top if he needs to because he has enough skill for it. But that being said, though, so he had a really nice tournament. But that being said, I guess you kind of brought this to my attention before we started podcast, but you also mentioned this on the post for the questions, is that we want to see whether the Rangers are going into a retool or rebuild, and depending on the distinction between the two, can they actually pull off a 1 and 2 year which, I mean, truth be told, I mean, if you think about it, it is possible, but you kind of need the right personnel for that. So I guess if you wanted to get into that to start, what are your thoughts on that?
So if you're a Patreon subscriber, and no, I did not pick this topic to segue into that as an advertiser, just happened to work out that way. But if you're a Patreon subscriber, I had a whole post about whether or not this is going to be, or how long this is going to take. And as I was going through and writing it, I wanted to say how we can get to a 1 to 2 year retool. And I actually played it out as one of the bullet points. But Chris Drury needs to be absolutely perfect in order for this to be a 1 or 2 year turnaround. And that's because, to be direct, the Rangers don't have enough talent to make the trades necessary or to have enough of a I guess, oh my god, I'm losing the word for guys that would be left on the team after the trade deadline. Anyway, there's not enough talent on this team in the farm system or in the AHL to make the necessary trades and to keep enough talent to make this team good in 1 to 2 years. If you think about their best NHL players, how many of them in 2 years are still top 6 players? Zibanejad, maybe Zibanejad, Lafreniere, maybe Gabe Perreault, maybe JT Miller. That's it. How many defensemen are top 4 defensemen? Gavrikov, obviously. Fox, obviously. That's it. The blue line is a fucking train wreck. Now go to the prospects. And I'll include Perreault with the prospects. How many prospects are legitimate top 6 prospects? JL, I want you to think that through. How many prospects are there that are top 6? They're going to be top 6 players. 1, maybe 2. Perreault.
3.
Perreault.
Well, Perreault, Fortescue, and I think Malcolm Spence.
Malcolm Spence is more of a middle 6, but okay, we'll round him up. You think Fortescue is going to be a top 4 defenseman?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Just
I didn't have it pegged for that, but I'd be pleasantly surprised.
Well,
Okay, I'll take it.
What I got from him, just from looking, and I could be totally wrong, or maybe my evaluation is not all the way there, but I mean, he doesn't seem like a terrible player. Like, he's pretty mobile for, what he's done so far. I haven't seen anything that kind of makes him to be sort of a net negative back there. And then, I mean, truth be told, if we're going to really compare, anything can be, I mean, then again, a lot can be better than, Urho Vakanainen. And look, I even say this knowing that we have Will Borgen for the next couple of years. I think that Will Borgen can settle into, a worst case second pair, third pair D-man who, can move pretty well. And if you throw Fortescue there with somebody who can, keep up with him, I think they're fine. I don't think that the defense has to be too flashy, unless they end up getting a guy like Quinn Hughes, which I know they won't because they tried it and it didn't work, in terms of trying to get value for something like that. I think what you ultimately have to do at the end of the day when it comes to rounding out that D-core is just getting guys who can move and can defend, and the Rangers don't seem to have much of that right now. I will say, though, from the one sample size I saw of Vincent D'Ario, not a bad guy to have back there, truth be told. He's got some size and he can move a little bit. Yep. So I think, that wouldn't hurt to have at the end of the day. So, even if it kind of looks like it's patchwork, I think Fortescue fits right in, especially if you end up trading Braden Schneider, for, either another player or for some picks. And then you also have to remember too, I guess, in terms of what you're trying to talk about, is it also kind of depends on where they're going to land in terms of drafting, and where they will land with the draft pick. So if it gets to a point where they're top 3, then your options, let's just say top 4 to be generous, because they're definitely they can't be any worse than 5th, just off of record alone. If they do end up being worse than 5th, then I don't know, then they're kind of SOL in some aspects. But if they do get either 1 to 4, best case scenario, they get 1, right? Because it always seems to be the team that's not really the worst that ends up getting the first overall pick. You have Gavin McKenna, and although he hasn't done, as well as people would want him to do in Penn State, he's still killing it to a degree. And he's also pretty fast. He's a good young player that they can have that can be exciting. You pair him with Perot. You pair him with Lafreniere, for goodness sake. Apparently, this organization seems like Lafreniere has some stuff left in the tank and they can fix him. You know what? God bless you. I hope that works out. I understand why, they want to do that. So fine, whatever. I can deal with that. But if not, then you go with either Stenberg or even Tynan Lawrence. Tynan Lawrence answers a lot of the issues that this team is facing currently, and that's right down the middle with the center position. So I think if they get a good draft pick in between 1 to 4, then that will allow them to draft the piece that they can slot right in, that can jump in right away and can give this team a bit of a jolt youth-wise. Because truth be told, and look, this is me being optimistic. Again, I'm still very critical of Chris Drury. I'm not totally sold on what he's trying to do, but if he gets this gift, he can't mess it up. You can't. You cannot mess this up. If it's McKenna, fine. If it's Stenberg, fine. If it's Lawrence, even better. Lawrence.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. But yeah. But if you think about it though, you look at what they have everywhere else, right? A lot of what they have on the farm, yeah, it may not be, we're not loaded like San Jose is with Celebrini and Will Smith and Colin Graff and all that. But at the end of the day, if you can put a top tier winger or a top tier center in Lawrence or Stenberg or as a winger with McKenna, and you slot them in, then that moves everybody else down, because you're going to have it's essentially what when Mike Sullivan made some comments about Gabe Perreault, and he stuck to this ideology that he has is that you're going to put Gabe Perreault on the top line and give him those minutes. Now, I'm also saying this under the assumption they don't trade Vincent Trocheck. Okay, the only reason why I'm saying that, and again, we've had this conversation before. I want them to trade Vincent Trocheck. I don't think they will, but if they don't, then that's okay, because then what you can do is essentially recreate the Lafreniere, Trocheck, Panarin line, except you throw in that winger with those two. So now you have depth with youth in it. Lafreniere, with somebody who can pass the puck reasonably well, could revive his career. So this all is really dependent on a lot of things breaking a certain way, because I don't think they have a good contingency plan, but it's definitely not impossible if they have this go for them. And ultimately, they could probably end up making a run for Jason Robertson on the restricted free agent market. Who knows? They have right?
So he hasn't signed yet, and the only big splash I can see the Rangers making is for Robertson. But I did play out how this could look, but it does include a Trocheck trade. Trocheck trade. Try saying that 5 times fast. Don't actually try, because I know you try. Yeah, exactly. You guys listening? You got okay. So to me, the only way for this to work in a 1 to 2 year turnaround is you have to trade Trocheck, because he's going to bring back probably the second most aside from Braden Schneider and maybe Lafreniere if they trade him. So step one to me, it sounds like Trocheck's already gone to Minnesota. Like it sounds like that's a done deal based off the picture and all that crap. So do you let's say it's Trocheck with 50% retained this year for center prospect Charlie Stramel, who was, I think, taken 1 pick before Gabe Perreault. You got right-handed defenseman David Spacek and a 2028 first-round pick. Best case scenario, Stramel makes the jump right away out of Michigan State and is your second-line center, replacing Trocheck, essentially. Spacek fills in the third right 3RD. Good God, I can't talk today. 3RD spot. And basically, Morrow, I don't think Sully likes Morrow at this point.
I don't know. I think I don't know. The way they've talked about him, it seems like they're trying to.
Well, they're not going to go out and say, "Oh, this guy sucks." I mean,
well, no, of course not. But I mean, Sully's been very straightforward with certain things, and if he really valued Vakanainen that much, he would be in the lineup over Morrow for the most part.
That's true.
All
right.
So
number 2, And I got 7 of these. Number 2, trade Braden Schneider, and in this case, Morrow, and Brennan Othman to San Jose for William Eklund. Now, I don't know if that's fair value. This is the only one where I wasn't really sure what the value was, because how often do young right-handed defensemen like Schneider get traded? Almost never. So it's tough to gauge that value, but I figured people love Schneider. He's viewed as a top 4 right-handed defenseman. Obviously, San Jose needs defensemen. I didn't think straight up was going to work. They'd get Othman, who's hopefully going to turn it on in a better environment, and then the sweetener, which is Morrow, another defenseman, figure it out. And then you get Eklund. Eklund, to me, joined Zibanejad and Miller on the top line, drawing tough minutes against top lines. They start as the top line. They eventually become the second line, again, getting those tough minutes. Think of the Barkov line in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like we spoke about, the Rangers need to win the draft lottery, and then they take Gavin McKenna. Okay, so they win the draft lottery. They take McKenna. He leaves Penn State and plays on a line with the newly acquired Stramel and Alexis Lafreniere. If you really want, you can flip Eklund and McKenna. Don't really care. Up to you. If it's McKenna, Stramel, Lafreniere, they get sheltered offensive zone starts, and they become so good that they become your top line. People are going to say, oh, Lafreniere, blah, 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 blah. We've seen he can drive possession. He just can't carry a line. If he's got skilled line mates, and in this case, he'd have Stramel and McKenna, I think he'd be just fine. Happy to be wrong there. Next, all this moves Gabe Perreault down the lineup. He gets Will Cooley and Noah Laba, and they get bottom 6 matchups, and they absolutely feast. If you put that line out against other third and fourth lines, they are going to absolutely feast.
Do you think that's smart, though, to move him down to the third line? I mean,
you're going to put him up ahead of Eklund, McKenna, Lafreniere.
I put him over Lafreniere, that's for sure.
I put him over Lafreniere, fine. Again, Lafreniere you can move up and down if you want to move Perreault up to the second line and Lafreniere down to the third line. It is what it is. This is just how I wrote it out. And then fourth line, Brett Berard sticks with Sam Carrick and Matt Rempe. Edstrom, if he's ever healthy, and Brodzinski are your spare forwards. Eventually, Edstrom gets hurt and Dylan Rupert gets a call-up. Because I feel bad saying that about Edstrom, but he hasn't stayed healthy yet. Your defense your defense, your top 4, still Gavrikov, Fox, Robertson, Borgen. You need a left-handed free agent, and then Spacek. Iorio is your 7th defenseman, or Hovakanainen is fired into the sun.
And if
defense needs work,
that'd be, I'm really high on him for some reason. I think he'll be here, and at least for me, and I hope I'm not wrong, is I think Fortescue seems like the kind of guy that would, kind of turn out similar to how Ryan McDonough came on the scene. He just showed up.
I'd be thrilled for that. If you want to insert him with Spacek, I'm good with that. He's a lefty. Fortescue's a lefty, right?
I think so, yeah. If I remember correctly.
Either him or Emery are one of them's a lefty. I can't remember which one. Or both of them are lefties, and I just don't know what's going on anymore. I'm blaming children for that one.
Drew Fortescue's also 20 years old. So.
Oh, yeah, so he's going to need time in the AHL. Let's not rush these guys. But, yeah, that's basically how I see a 1 to 2 year rebuild, or retool, I should say, happening. They've infused the team with youth and speed. They've kept the guys that are actually decently talented on the roster. They have a legitimate top pairing with Gavrikov and Fox. I mean, I don't like the second pair of Robertson Borgen, but there's so much talent on this team. At that point, maybe you move Lafreniere for more of a. You trade Lafreniere for a second pairing defenseman and a third line winger, and you move Perreault up to the second line, like you said. Like, there's wiggle room there to deal from winger strength to address other needs. But this is why you just acquire as much talent as possible and you figure it out later. Doesn't matter what position, just get the talent and figure it out later. But Chris Drury is Chris Drury, so I don't know. That's the only way I see a retool happening. Otherwise, there's not enough talent for them to 1 to 2 year turnaround, and they're looking at 3 to 4 years. And I didn't even include Liam Greentree in any of this, by the way.
Which I think, granted his skating's not the greatest, but I think getting a guy who has a bit, it seems like he's a nasty dude to play against, and I think that's what they're looking for. I know we went up and down about that deal, but obviously I thought they could have gotten more, but they were pretty much held hostage for the most part. I think Greentree could be something. I don't know. I'm usually optimistic with prospects, and I think there's something there. Also, maybe something comes of Adam Sikora, maybe something comes of
Yes.
Dylan Rubrick. Rubrick is probably more likely than Sikora, but Sikora, they claim that he kind of plays a little bit like Brad Marchand, like how they claimed Will Cooley plays like Tom Wilson, which I mean we've seen it, but I think that there is a lot of lower bottom six type depth that they have that they can utilize to round out the team instead of trying to pay for it. And I've always said that is that when you have to go out to the market and have to pay for bottom six help, then unless you're in the position to do so, I think that's always a negative. You look at a lot of those Boston Bruins teams in the mid 2000s that were really good. Half of the bottom six that they had were all homegrown guys, So I think, I think that they basically just have a whole farm full of those guys, and they end up getting the top skill guys elsewhere. Which it's not impossible, but we have to see if Chris Drury's actually up to do that. It's not impossible. There is a way out, but he just needs to put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, there's a way to do it, and I realized I forgot Fortescue, I forgot Greentree, so maybe in this scenario you do trade Lafreniere to get Greentree into the lineup in a third line role with Cooley and Laba. That would be interesting, and you move Perreault up. That'd actually be fun.
No,
that'd be fun. Then you move Lafreniere for legitimate puck moving left-handed defenseman. Pick somebody. I don't know.
I mean, who's even out there? I mean, is Boston Charlie McAvoy? He doesn't play left D. He's a right D, I think. Either way,
is he a right D?
Well, he's right.
He's a right D. So I mean, I don't know who has spared left defenseman. That's the weird question. That's a very weird question to ask.
It is, but I guess that'll come in time once we go down the rest of the season towards the off season. Which I will. This is very crucial for Chris Drury and the Rangers.
I'm gonna cry.
What did you know?
What's really funny? I can't believe I'm about to say this. I can see Chris Drury going back after the initial target on the Keandre Miller trade, Albert Johansson in Detroit, and dangling Lafreniere to make that happen. And I would put my head through a wall because that is a waste of assets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, if the case,
terrible waste of assets
at this point. What was I going to say? I had something in mind.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I have, and please do not. This is not verified. This is not something that's going to happen. But I just have this very strange feeling in me that the Rangers are going to attempt to try and get Brady Tkachuk. And here's why. Because of what's going on with the Olympics right now and how him and his brother Matthew are playing, and they're playing very well. I mean, Brady's been one of the best forwards in this tournament for the United States, which, rightly so. The kid's good. But, with a lot of those rumors going around, last year, 2 years ago, and with the fact that Ottawa's just been playing garbage, since then,
I thought they were in a playoff spot. Am I that disconnected from
Well, I
everything
don't think
else?
they're really. Well, I have to. Oh, see, NHL
They're
stand.
in. No, they. Oh God, no, they are not in the hunt. Never
They're
mind. Yeah, they're
terrible
bad.
this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they're not.
they were
They're not
good last year.
terrible. No, the Rangers are terrible this year.
Well,
Ottawa
yeah.
is middle of the pack.
Well, Ottawa was supposed to be that punky sort of we're gonna, get you and push into the playoffs type of team. But they haven't really done much. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at the Rangers have a minus 29 goal differential. Holy crap. I didn't even see that until now.
I mean, St. Louis has minus 56 and Vancouver minus 61. So
I mean, it could be worse.
yes, it could be very worse.
But I think that the Rangers wanted Matthew. I think, but they obviously didn't have the assets to pull it off, and that trade was perfect for both those teams. For the most part. I mean, Calgary kind of got the short end of the stick because they're obviously not doing as well as they should. But I think the Rangers want a guy like a Brady. Like they want to get Matthew, but not Matthew. So it's like that meme where it's the little kid in the restaurant where it's like, oh, he wanted this sort of person, but you got this instead, Kathleen. So I think I don't know. Something tells me it's either going to be Brady Tkachuk. I can't verify that from anything, or maybe Jason Robertson, because
He's still
something
unsigned. He's still unsigned.
right. So I think that it's going to either be one of those two. Magically, if they had ended up getting both, I would go crazy. But
I mean, they don't have the pieces to get both.
no.
But I'm trying to think of how you could pull off a Brady Tkachuk trade. So let's use Matt, his brother, as the trade window.
Well, I don't think. Well, that
Huberdeau.
involves multiple pieces. I would assume that if you're going to get a Brady Tkachuk, it's going to have to involve both Lafreniere and Braden Schneider. That's probably the biggest comp we can have. Because
Yes,
if you
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
yeah, if we do the comp similar to how we did the Jason Robertsons, the deals that we were thinking of Panarin, Lafreniere, and Schneider, but obviously Panarin's in Los Angeles now. So now you would have to think that, okay, a deal similar would be Brady Tkachuk and a defenseman on Ottawa. I don't know who they'd want to give up. Definitely wouldn't be Sanderson, I'll tell you that much. But it would be Brady Tkachuk and a defenseman for Lafreniere, Schneider, another prospect, and a first, because the Rangers would have to put in a little bit more on that. I think that's ultimately what would do it. I'm not too sure of how similar the salaries are when it comes to.
They're close enough.
They're close enough. So it would cancel out. And it would mean that Ottawa gets a fresh face. Lafreniere goes plays in Canada. Kind of, the whole hometown thing. I mean, no, he's French, but going back to his home country, whatever, fine. Brady Tkachuk be playing for his Team USA coach and Mike Sullivan, and he gets to be a voice in the room. He knows JT Miller. He knows Vincent Trocheck, and I'm saying again, operating off of the assumption they don't trade Trocheck. Trocheck, that kind of stuff, and then you sign Jason Robertson, for the money and whatever.
Hold on, isn't Ottawa in Quebec?
No,
Yeah,
I was in Ontario. It's the capital of the country.
I know it's the capital of the country.
It's
I'm
in
not
Ontario.
that stupid.
It's in Ontario.
Okay, I could swear it was. Oh, it's right on the fucking border. Give me a break.
It's so.
Come on, I'm looking at a map. It's right on the fucking border.
It's still in Ontario, though. That's the thing.
I know. Okay.
Now, if we're talking about him going to Montreal, that's a different story.
I'm looking at the map. I'm like, well, there are so many French names around. And I'm looking. It's right at the fucking border. All right.
Well, to be fair, Ottawa is one of the places in Canada. Being that it's the capital, you have to speak both languages. So
yes.
he would fit right in if he were to go there. He would have an opportunity to play with Tim Stützle, which I don't know how that would be. That would probably be the laziest line ever. But I mean, they would score a lot of goals. I'd say that, because Lafreniere, for all intents and purposes, is still a really good passer. So I just hope that I hope he finds a scoring touch, because it seems like he generates all this 5-on-5 offense and nothing goes into the back of the net. I don't know what it is. It's like, it's very frustrating about him. And I want him to do well here because I like Alexis Lafreniere, But if it's going to be this way where he can't even get you 20 goals, I mean, that's kind of a problem. So if you could trade him with Braden Schneider, you kill two of the problems that you had for a guy who is more than likely probably disgruntled in Ottawa. When there's
I don't think he's disgruntled. I think this is the media making something out of nothing to print headlines and get clicks. I don't think Brady Tkachuk's going anywhere, but then again, I think Trocheck's going somewhere and you don't. So
we don't really know.
I don't know.
But
yeah, though, like the Matthew Tkachuk trade is the only comparison you can make for a Brady Tkachuk trade. And yeah, it's got to be Lafreniere, it's got to be Schneider, it's got to be not the Rangers' first round pick. It's got to be the Carolina first round.
It's got to be Carolina's, yeah, for the most
yeah.
part. But I mean, if it's the Rangers, it wouldn't be. The Rangers would not give up that first. I mean, I think they also had. I can't remember. They also have a second first round pick in 27. I think. I mean, they have a lot of draft capital. Is what I'm saying.
The Rangers, I don't think they have a second pick in 27 yet. They probably will wind up with one.
I wouldn't doubt it.
No, they don't have one yet. So in 26, they have 2 firsts, a second, 3 thirds. In 27, it's just a first and a third. And then in 28, they have all 3.
Wow, they really blew their load on the 27. They'll probably end up recouping that back at some point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the 27 second round pick went to Pittsburgh for Riley Smith. And the 26 second rounder that was used to shed Patrick Nemeth. Oh, that was a bad trade.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow, what a blast from the past.
Yeah, that was a bad trade.
Watching him run into Alexander Georgiev and having a goal in against Pittsburgh that series. That was fun. No. Anyways. All right. So I think we
let's get to the questions.
Yeah, I think we touched on a pretty decent amount. I know we had been stewing on that for some time, even though there hasn't been any hockey going forward. But by the time that we talk to you guys next week, we'll have some the games will probably start back up and we'll all be miserable again. All right. Anyway, so questions. All right. Again, thank you to everyone who has taken the time out to send the questions in. We appreciate it. And first, we're going to start on Blue Sky. This comes from dsam1921 at bsky.social. And dsam asks, what's a reasonable expectation for any players of your choosing post Olympics? Endearing and or derogatory?
I'm expecting JT Miller to go on long-term injured reserve.
Yeah, me too. I think that's.
I don't think anybody's expecting him to play for the rest of the season.
No. He held to play for the Olympics. Looks like absolute dog water. And once he comes back, it's like, oh, I'm actually hurt, guys. So yeah.
True captain material right there.
Who knew he was still somewhat immature? But
I mean, I was sounding that alarm last year. Nobody wanted to listen. I know immaturity when I see it.
Well, to be fair, he actually produced when he came here. You can't deny that. He actually did.
No, I'm not denying that.
I think.
I'm saying he's immature and a bad captain.
I will say though that I need to see how he is fully healthy through a full 82.
Fair.
But
at 32, when does he turn 33? He turns 33 in March. Are we really going to get a fully healthy season out of him?
You might. Honestly, it's not impossible. You know, I mean, you got guys who are probably more injury prone, play, still productive and play into their 40s.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's totally fair.
I don't, and again, with the cap going up, I don't think that there is much of an issue holding on to that contract unless somebody wants to take it, unless they decide to blow it up and they, have to cut their losses. I don't think that they're in, with Miller, I don't think they're in dire straits as it seems, because he wants to be stubborn and playing hurt right now. That's on him.
So he does have 36 points in 48 games, 14 goals, 22 assists. He's also a minus 22. I don't do plus minus at all, especially with the Rangers ever, because I think it's just a bad stat.
Yeah.
But that's noticeable.
I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, he
minus 22 is pretty bad.
It is, but he has shown flashes, though, I will say. That's been the frustrating thing about this team and him as well, is that there've been flashes. At the game against Montreal when he won it in overtime, he was phenomenal the whole game. I was there. He was
Mhm.
awesome. You know, he has the ability to take charge of a game. And I know we joke about him saying, "Oh, you know, he's going to bring the team into the fight." He can do that if he's healthy. You know.
Yep.
Let's
He's
see.
also a solid playoff performer. I mean, with
He is.
Vancouver, he put up
Yeah.
18 points in 17 playoff games in 1920, and he put up 12 points in 13 games in 23-24. I mean, he's a solid playoff producer. I'll give him that.
No, he is. And I think we also just have to remember, and ultimately the news came out, was it yesterday, about Philip Hedl? Um,
Oh God.
you know, poor kid ended up getting hurt again in practice, and they basically stopped practice, and they took him off the ice again, dealing with the head injury. Just imagine having all this happen and then having Phil here. You know, God bless the kid. I really hope all the best for him. Honestly, I love Philip Hedl, but I think the Rangers kind of, if you're able to get something out of JT Miller, whether it's a lot or even a little, the Rangers win that trade. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, as crazy as it is to say that out loud, but you know, if Hedl doesn't do much else back on the ice, the Rangers needed something to get from that. You know, it's unfortunate. I love the kid, but you know, he's not all there. I'm sorry. Um,
My issue with that trade was, like Rob said, they wasted assets that could have been used on somebody who wasn't already 31 years old at the time. That's my
yeah,
issue with that.
yeah, I get that, but also, I mean, was anybody really going to want to take Phil and uh, Victor Mancini for a type of player that the Rangers needed at the time? I don't think so. And I think I think it would have probably been just as bad if they just held on to Phil, because now you're running down with, you know, just Zibanejad, Trocheck, you know, Lava. Obviously, we didn't know Lava was going to be here right away, but um, essentially your three centers would be Zibanejad, Trocheck, and Sam Carrick with the question mark at the time. So
I mean, I
understand.
wanted Pedersen. I wanted
I
them
wanted
to
Pedersen too.
figure
Trust
out
me.
how to get Pedersen and not deal with Miller. But Chris Drury is going to Chris Drury, and he's got his eyes set on a 1980s Team USA style team, which, yeah,
Yeah.
50 years later, we're still not learning the right fucking lessons.
Well, hopefully they change that this
Yeah.
weekend.
So we only
Um,
covered Miller as part of that question, by the way.
so I think we would have to say probably, I guess, just to kind of mention it out loud, Igor, Fox, Lafreniere, and Schneider, and probably Perot, maybe Cooley. That because it's only pretty notable names I could probably say off the top of my head that we could probably talk about, because I don't think anyone really cares what else Sam Carrick does. He's going to come in and do his job. Edstrom is probably not coming back until maybe the end of March. Who knows?
No, I think he's done. Connor
Um,
Sheary was skating.
honestly, fine. Hey, listen, look, I know everybody hates him, but
For
Connor,
no reason. No real
no,
reason.
no. Look, yes, I understand they stapled him in the top six. They were injuries. It's not going to happen now because Lafreniere. It's going to be Lafreniere, Miller. No, not Lafreniere, Miller. It's going to be Miller, Zibanejad, Perot. They played very well for the most part. And then it's Trocheck, Lafreniere, and Cooley. Okay. So if Connor Sheary would have come back in, he plays on the fourth line with Matt Rempe, Matt Rempe shouldn't even be playing, truth be told.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They're just making some weird decisions this year with how to manage injuries.
Yeah, because you know Rempe can't really do much with his busted thumb. You know he can't fight anybody, and he's gonna go in for hits. Yeah, but you know, Brennan Othman don't really expect much. Um, so basically, all we'd have to think of is Lafreniere, Trocheck. Well, you think Trocheck's getting traded, so that's moot.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I think Trocheck is gone before the puck drops against the Flyers this time next week.
So you're saying once they open, he's gone.
Why would either team, if this really does feel like a done deal to me. So why would either team wait? I can see them waiting till Wednesday after 5 p.m. to accrue a little bit more cap space and make it a little bit easier on Minnesota. but I don't see why either team would wait. It doesn't
That's
make sense to me. Why are you going to risk injury?
Yeah, no, that's fair. What about Perot?
If Trocheck is gone and they don't bring back a body to play center and Miller goes on long-term injured reserve, then Laba moves up and oh god, that third line is going to be a disaster.
Yeah, because it's going to be Johnny Brodzinski or even Sam Carrick.
You know what? I'm okay with Johnny Brodzinski, not necessarily because he's going to bring out the best stats in Perot, but there's a reason why every kid in Hartford and every rookie with the Rangers has been like, we love Johnny Brodzinski. There's a reason. And he's been a mentor to everybody. He's essentially he's the true, to me, captain of the kids.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be fine. Even if Brodzinski doesn't have the skill level, he still has the experience, and these are still NHL players. Johnny Brodzinski would skate circles around all of us. Like, it could be 17 on 1, and he would wreck all of us. Like, it wouldn't even be a competition.
100%.
So I would be okay with Brodzinski in the short term because we're looking to get Perot acclimated to the NHL game. And while Brodzinski's not the most skilled guy, him, Cooley, and Perot would be a fun line to watch because Brodzinski's basically like the dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he can help bring them along. And I'm okay with that. But good God, if Brodzinski's the third line center, the Rangers would give him like 2 games for the rest of the year.
Honestly, I mean, honestly, I think Brodzinski's contract is up at the end of this year. Sign him to another.
It is. I think they re-sign him. I think they deal Taylor Radish.
Deal for 2 years. Why not? I wouldn't mind that.
I would bring Brodzinski back as basically the mascot. I would trade Taylor Radish because it looks like they still have too many wingers.
Yeah.
Or, fire him into the sun. I'm done with Taylor Radish. I thought it was a good signing at first, but good God, I'm done with him.
Well, he did give us the Taylor Radish hat trick thing.
And that is very true.
He did score 2 against Washington at the end
yep.
At some point, not at the end of the year, but at some point when they played. I think it was sometime in January when they did. But
what do you think they do with Sam Carrick?
I think he stays.
I think he stays.
Yeah, I think he stays because so the way that I see it with how Chris Drury has handled a lot of the personnel, it's been very touch and go in the sense of I don't want to get anybody mad. The team seems to love this guy, which rightly so. He's prototypical, cheap, affordable fourth line center. I think they see him as somebody that they can use for a playoff run that they're trying to go for next year, right? Because that's ultimately what they want to do. And you got him on basically retainer for $1 million. So how could you possibly go wrong? He fights whenever he gets the chance. With this locker room being incredibly weak for some odd reason, I think they keep him. I mean, if they end up trading him for pennies on the dollar, then fine. I get it. You're trying to get out of the cap, but I think they keep him. They've shown stability and success. The fourth line hasn't really been the issue, really.
No, I like the fourth line.
Regardless of whatever they've done, how the team has played as a whole, the fourth line has always been good. It's usually the third line that's been the one that's shuffled the most this year. They haven't really gotten to solidify that as of yet. So I think he stays. Will Cooley, what do you think about him?
I like him. He's not somebody that
well, at least for the rest of the year.
Oh, for the rest of the year?
Expectations, yeah.
Hold on, let me just see, because Cooley, you know what? He's got 13 goals, 27 points through 57 games. He's basically he's a shade behind his pace last year. I think his what is this? His third full season. I think the step back continues, and I hope that he figures it out next season and really comes on strong because I'm a little disappointed in how he's played this year. I
Yeah.
expect more of the same. I expect him to be invisible again.
Well, I think what he needs to do is he needs to get bigger. He needs to improve his skating a little more, because his type of play style involves him getting dirty. And
Yes.
has been too. What made him such an endearing player when he was primarily getting only third line and fourth line shifts last season and the season before was his play of being able to get in at the dirty areas. And while he's not going to be the Chris Kreider, he was supposed to be the Chris Kreider replacement. Um, while he hasn't done that, the thing that Kreider would always do is stand in front of the net. I really see him do that a lot lately, which is why they took him off the power play unit to begin with, the first one, because he was on the first power play unit in the middle, but could do the same thing with Lafreniere for a point in time. When Lafreniere was on the right circle or one of the circles, opposite of Panarin or Zibanejad, he didn't really do much, but they finally had to tell him be aggressive, and look what happens. He scored goals when he was aggressive. So Cooley was the same thing. Um, so I think maybe he just kind of needs to bulk up a little more, at least just get stronger playing. Hopefully he's done a little work over the last couple of weeks. Maybe he'll make a difference. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And I guess to wrap this up, just kind of Igor Fox and I guess Zibanejad.
Zibanejad continues doing what he's doing, being the actual leader of the team. Honestly, I want Igor and Fox shut down for the rest of the year, but I'm not going to get that.
Yeah.
I really want them shut down for the rest of the year. There is no point in forcing them to come back. Let them get healthy and run with it for next season. But it's not going to happen. I don't know. Igor has been fine. Those two are going to continue being what they are. They
Right.
are known entities. They are consistently elite players. I
Yeah.
don't think that changes.
Okay. All right. So I guess we'll move on to the next question. Thank you, DSAM, for that.
Yep.
Now, this next question comes from Two Line Passes, and they ask, why do Ranger fans seem to always overvalue their draft picks? Then we trade them for Zamboni skirts and a bag of pucks.
I mean, that's every fan base, isn't it? We always overvalue our
Everybody
picks.
does it.
Yeah. The issue isn't that they trade them for Zambonis and bags of pucks. It's that they hold on to them for 1 year too long. I think it was Brandon that wrote something about trading your prospects. You have to be willing to trade for a prospect that is not going to be a top line player.
Yeah.
I fully agree with that sentiment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Brennan Othman, key example. Braden Schneider, key example. Keandre Miller, Alexi Lafreniere, Capo Caco. Okay, Caco and Lafreniere will get a pass. First and second overall picks. Sorry, Othman, Schneider, Miller, Perot. I mean, if we're holding on to these guys because we don't want to move them for, I don't know, Jason Robertson or Elias Pettersson or Jack Eichel,
Right.
then what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm. Nope.
None of them are ever going to be that caliber of player. So you don't
also,
trade Gavin McKenna if you get him. You don't
no,
trade Gavin
no,
McKenna.
no.
Like you don't do that. You don't trade I don't know, when they landed Adam Fox. You don't trade Adam Fox when you landed him. You don't trade who else is there? Who the fuck else is there?
I don't know.
That's it. Like I said, there's no fucking talent on this team. Trade anybody if you can get talent. There's nobody on this roster that is completely untouchable. I would even trade Fox at this point, but only because he would bring back such an unimaginable haul that the Rangers would actually be good in 2 years because of it.
Well,
I'm not holding on to anybody at this point.
no, I mean, I get it. If it's holding them back, I mean, you might as well just give it a shot. But I think what people are, and I guess this will round out this question. I think what a lot of people are afraid of is that they ship a guy away, and this has happened before where they ship a guy away, and he ends up doing well.
Neil
So,
Pionk.
well, I mean, to be fair with Pionk, Trouba wasn't terrible for the first 2.5 years of his contract here.
No, he wasn't.
So I think that just kind of, and Pionk, they kind of like, Pionk did start off slow at Winnipeg, if I remember correctly. So, it's not like, a total loss. Who knew that Trouba's injuries were going to totally bring him down and be a completely useless asset? That was what happened. But also, I think, too, with I like to reference the Peter Forsberg trade for some reason with this, even though I know it's years and years ago. But that is one of the few, and also you could say the Matthew Tkachuk trade too, is that, yeah, you're getting something back, but then what you're giving away could end up, like hurting you. I don't know. I just feel like Ranger fans just kind of have that, and that's kind of a thing with New York sports is people leave and then they come back and they like do well against us. But anyways, this next question comes from Spozo, and Spozo asks, "What are the goals for this team for the remainder of the season?" I don't really think there's much for them to do, truthfully, except just not suck, or suck as much as you can to get a better draft pick, but just give me something to cheer about at least. That's all I can say on that.
I mean, I just want them to pretend like they care. And this is directed at the few guys that it's clear they're just kind of dogging it. Or they're hurt.
JT Miller.
And others, but Miller's been the poster boy because he wears the C. And when you wear the C, you can't give quotes like, I don't know, come back with a better mindset, I guess. It wasn't that hard to say. It'll be a good reset. We come back, we'll regroup, we'll be healthier, we'll be fresher with our legs, and we're going to come back strong.
Mm-hmm.
Was that fucking hard?
That's all you have to say.
That's all you had to fucking say, you absolute fucking clown. Sorry, I am so done with JT Miller. I never wanted him to begin with. I keep saying that. I'm so done with him.
All right. This next question comes from
Open carrot / rant close carrot.
Yes. This next question comes from Long Time One Time, and they ask, "Is there any chance we can sign some of the players from the women's gold medal team?"
I mean, watch the PWHL.
It's actually really fun to watch. Not gonna lie.
It is. Like, they care a lot more than the Rangers do.
Well, I mean, just look at, and I know Rob was, Rob was kind of talking about this a bit on Blue Sky. All of them bought into the coach on what he brought to the team. Like, they all bought in. And what I loved about what we saw today, obviously if you're watching this, listening to this and watching it on yesterday, was when they cut a clip to the bench when right as Keller scored and the players started celebrating. The coach was crying, but in a good way. It was like tears of joy. And they both, I think the assistant coach and the trainer, or the assistant coaches together, embraced him. And he was just, you could tell that this was something special, and they all kind of bought in. You can see the results on the ice. They just dusted. I don't think they lost a game. They didn't lose a game. That's how good they were. So,
they let up 2 goals. 2.
Yeah, the whole tournament, which is insanity.
Yeah. That's just absolutely absurd.
So that's what I agree with you that, the PWHL is a very solid league. I know the New York Sirens are a little bit better this year than they were last year. They were terrible, but they're better this year. I have to make it out to a game at some point. The only issue is I live in New Jersey, and it's harder to get to the Prudential Center than it is Madison Square Garden for some reason. But the tickets are affordable. Go see a PWHL game. The Sirens, it's a really fun team to watch. They have a lot of energy. Something you wish the Rangers were to have, and hopefully they have it coming back from the Olympic break, which maybe I doubt. But all right, this next question comes from Nikki70, and Nikki asks, "Assuming Gavrikov wants to be traded somewhat badly enough, who holds the advantage here? Gav with his no movement clause, or Drury, since there's no pressure to make a trade?" It's Gavrikov. He's got the no movement clause, of course. If you have anyone who has that, they're gonna have the advantage.
Where the hell is the Gavrikov thing coming from? Hold on. Where is this coming from?
So apparently, I don't know if you saw this in the chat, but apparently Elliot Friedman alluded to something that Gavrikov is kind of rethinking what. I mean, it's nothing crazy that's like causing a bit of a, an actual stir. But Elliot Friedman on one of the podcasts, like the Million podcast that he's on, basically, I guess, alluded to that Gavrikov could maybe feeling some sort of regret on signing with the Rangers. I'm assuming that
Yeah,
that's what Nikki is talking about, but I don't really think there's too much credence to that because he knew that this team was bad coming into this season. So I don't know why he would sign with a team that he knows is not going to have a potential chance to improve. Obviously, they gave him the money, but he could have gotten it anywhere else.
so he could be feeling that maybe Gavrikov might be reconsidering his What the fuck? How many qualifiers are we going to put into this? Nikki, this isn't directed at you. This is like, come on. Are we just going to say every single Ranger's going to want out because the team's bad? What the hell is Friedman talking about at this point? He could possibly maybe want out. I don't. He's not going. Gavrikov's not going anywhere.
Maybe I want pizza tonight. Maybe I don't. Who knows?
Maybe I'm going to regret having a chocolate shake later. I don't know. I'm lactose intolerant. We'll find out later, won't we?
Right. All right. And our last question comes from Blue Shirts. And Blue Shirts writes, was Guerin right to keep Fox off Team USA with the pace so
No.
physical since he does struggle in those areas?
No.
And since the race cup is kind of the exact same, isn't that a problem for the New York Rangers chance to set a cup?
Oh my god.
No, 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 no.
Where is
Absolutely.
this fucking narrative coming from? Is it because he played a bad 4 games at the Four Nations? Is that where this is coming from?
I don't even think he was that bad. Truth, I mean, he wasn't the
He
best.
wasn't him.
Yeah, but you could tell he was. Fox was playing injured. We all know that. That we all kind of knew that Fox is playing injured last season, and the fact that he ended up playing in that tournament instead of just sitting out. I mean, best man available. Fox has been nothing but stellar when he's been healthy here this season.
Oh my
So,
god. I can't
no,
with this anymore.
he would have fit in perfectly fine. I mean, I think it wouldn't have been much. He would have been fine. There hasn't been any team, at least against you, excuse me, against the United States right now, that have completely, utterly, and maybe Sweden. That was the team that took them to the brink. But I think in a game, if you had the same D pairs now, except you switch out Fox or Noah Hannafin with Fox, he'd be fine. Adam Fox is one of the premier, not only puck possession defensemen in the league, but just one of the best defensemen in the league overall. I don't understand, and this is not directly towards you, Blue Shirts, primarily, but there's this narrative out there that has probably been led up by Chris Drury and not Chris Drury with Bill Guerin and all that just because he had a bad Four Nations tournament, all of a sudden he's terrible. Well, what about Austin Matthews? He was garbage at the Four Nations tournament. What about Jack Hughes? Jack Hughes has a couple of points in this Olympic tournament. Good for him. He's on the team. Why is it that Adam Fox is all of a sudden the scapegoat? Because he's not Cale Makar? I don't understand it. What is this? Because he's not.
Sorry. Look at Cale Makar's numbers when he's not out there with Nathan MacKinnon.
He's terrible.
I mean, and now look at every Ranger when they're not out with Adam Fox.
Right.
Like, give me a fucking break with this bullshit. Sorry, again, not directed at Blue Shirts, but
no, but this is kind of a theme that's gone on online, and you clearly Bill Guerin must have this sort of same thing because that's why he left them off the roster, which I don't understand why. Adam Fox is still a very good defenseman. He plays against
he's an elite defenseman.
He plays against top players on other teams. Him and Gavrikov have arguably put together probably one of the best shutdown pairs in the NHL. Yes, I am saying that. So
they are a premier. They are a premier top pair in the NHL. Right. There are very few pairs. There are very few teams that have a Gavrikov Fox top pairing.
Exactly. So no, Guerin was not right to leave Fox off because Fox scores you a couple more goals. Look, we love to gas up Quinn Hughes, and rightly so. Quinn Hughes is phenomenal. probably going to be one of the best United States defensemen of all time, but he's going to be there with Adam Fox because Fox isn't as I guess agile with his skates and with the flashy moves, or the same thing with Cale Makar. The guy's got a Norris Trophy. The guy literally powers the power play. When Adam Fox came back and absolutely killed it on the power play before having to go back on the shelf again. No coincidence, the power play falls off the face of the earth all of a sudden when he gets hurt. So come on. I mean, what are we doing here? You know,
Okay. You know what? Everybody loves Charlie McAvoy, right?
they're the same
Well,
defenseman.
Hold on.
And fucking better.
This year, Charlie McAvoy, same age, everything. 4 goals, 35 points, 4 goals, 35 assists, 39 points in 45 games. Adam Fox, in 30 games, has 4 goals, 28 assists. 4 goals, 24 assists, 28 points.
Wait,
So Fox has better numbers already, played 15 fewer games.
Yeah.
With a crappy fucking team.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Bill Guerin, just because Bill Guerin left Adam Fox off the roster, he also left Jason Robertson off the roster for Brock Nelson.
Oh, wow.
Are you telling me that Jason Robertson isn't good anymore because he was left off Team USA? But Brock Nelson is better?
Yeah, no shot. No shot.
So it is not on Fox or Robertson or McAvoy or Nelson that Bill Guerin is bad at his job.
No.
Now watch Team USA win gold, by the way, because we're
of course they are, because
they're going to win gold because we're having this fucking conversation.
Of course they are, but they're also going to win gold because the Tkachuk brothers are going to end up going on this scoring spree, which I'll be okay with. But the only negative thing about that is just it validates Bill Guerin's decision.
Everything. It validates everything.
And
I hate when you luck into something and you won despite your bad decisions. Like this would be this would be comparable to everybody applauding the Rangers for taking Gabe Perreault 23rd overall when he fell into their lap and he should have been taken 12 picks sooner.
Yeah. But what are you going to do, right?
I mean, I know they're going to win gold because of this, but it's just you can't leave off your best players. And if you want to say that Fox doesn't play a physical game, that's fine. And if you want to say Fox doesn't have high-end speed, that's also fine. Those are factual statements. But you can't tell me that Fox is a bad skater because he doesn't have top speed. Have you watched him walk the line? Have you watched the agility he has, the edge work he has? He's a phenomenal skater. He just doesn't have the top end speed that that Quinn Hughes has, for example.
Right.
And yeah, he doesn't play a physical game, but that doesn't make him a bad defenseman. There's a reason why every defenseman, even before Gavrikov, that played with Fox was instantly better. Everyone was better.
Unbelievable.
And it's just, I am so sick. This and Connor Sheary are the two things that are going to make me put my head through a fucking wall at some point, because it's just take a step back, stop being online all the time, and just watch. Watch what Adam Fox does. I can't believe I'm saying watch the game, nerd, but watch the game. Watch what Fox does.
Yeah.
Just focus on him and not the puck. He's just so good and he's so smart. He might be the smartest defenseman in the game.
I just don't get it. And it's very annoying that we have to constantly say this because of some guy's opinion of putting together a team for a tournament.
How many times have we said just because you were a good player doesn't mean you're a good coach, doesn't mean you're a good GM? Chris Drury, Wayne Gretzky, who else? Rick Tocchet. Help me out here. Who else? Messier would be a terrible coach and a terrible GM, by the way.
I don't disagree.
It's just like enough already. Look at all the former players that the Rangers have in their scouting department, in their player development department. Are the Rangers good at drafting? Are the Rangers good at developing? No. So just because a former NHL player makes a bad decision, an objectively bad decision to leave Fox and Jason Robertson off Team USA does not make him right. If
No,
they win, it makes him lucky.
yeah. Well, I hope people can see that because it wouldn't really make sense to kind of, just to kind of leave him off that way and then kind of have it all validated. It's just really annoying. And then people are gonna run with it. Oh well, it's got precedence to it. It's like no, he lucked into it. Let's be real. Come on. But
And
anyways,
also, hold on, wasn't Sweden missing Hedman for that entire game too? By the way,
I think they barely used him. They also
he got hurt in warm-ups. No, he got hurt in warm-ups and never played.
Yeah, but they dressed him, but he was just sitting on the bench the whole time.
So congratulations, you needed overtime to beat Sweden, who barely made it out. Not barely made it out of the medal round, but no, sorry, the round robin tournament. But Sweden was not very good this year, and they took Team USA to overtime without their best defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
And now Canada, we don't know what's going on with Sidney Crosby. Isn't somebody else hurt on Canada?
I know they're pretty banged up. I can't remember
Yeah.
anyone else that was injured, but
So, who's the Kings player that got dumped for that? Fiala. Kevin Fiala's done for the year.
Finland.
And that is Finland, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just like you're telling me that
actually, correction, not Finland. Kevin Fiala is Swiss.
That Swiss. Was okay.
Because they.
Yeah, that was huge.
That probably would have really helped them out, if anything. But
okay, so that actually doesn't prove my point. But like, we're celebrating an OT win over Sweden that didn't have the best defenseman. We're going up against Slovakia next, and then we might have a Sidney Crosby-less Canada team. They are lucking into this.
Yep, pretty much.
Who keeps coming up in the background on your mic?
Oh my gosh, that's probably my TV. I'm sorry. Well,
I keep hearing somebody red. I'm like, am I interrupting something here, buddy?
No. It for some reason the volume on what I'm watching just kind of got louder for some reason. I don't know why, but no, you're good. I think I lowered it. So, but anyways, I think that's pretty much it for our questions. Just double checking to make sure if we have anything else, but no, I don't think we have any other questions. So, I guess with that being said, Dave, any final thoughts?
Oh, my mic unplugged. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. All right. Final thoughts. R.I.P. Wendy's.
Why is that?
They're closing 200 restaurants this year.
Oh my.
Yeah. Apparently nobody wants to pay $17 for, a square burger and a round bun.
I guess that's fair, but
it is fair. But Wendy's also has objectively the worst French fries.
Oh, that's before they changed the salt. This is after they changed the salt, I meant.
I mean, it doesn't. They still have the worst French fries. It doesn't matter what salt they're using; they're bad French fries. They do have excellent chicken, and they do have the Frosty.
Okay, I'll concede with you on that. Any other comments about food or like that before we finish?
Yeah, as I'm learning tonight, no matter how cute your kids are and how sweetly they ask, do not give them chocolate an hour and a half before bedtime. It was 3 fucking M&Ms that caused this entire drama and caused us to start late tonight. 3 plain M&Ms to a 4.5-year-old that was, in all fair, she earned it. She was very good. She did her, pre-K homework, all that stuff, and absolute fucking train wreck. She wanted to snuggle with her Lego set and kept crying that it was breaking. Like, you can't snuggle with a Lego set. Like, that's not how that works. I love them, but holy shit, I'm going
I
gray
guess
because of them.
a lesson to everyone is use a condom if you don't want to deal with that. No, I'm kidding.
Wow. Damn.
Kidding. As to someone who
Good God.
I want kids, so I say
Yeah,
that.
I know. Yeah, no, I have amazing, amazing girls. They're smart. They're empathetic. I've already done, the wife and I have done a great job teaching them empathy. They know when the wife and I are stressed or upset. No, they're amazing kids. But the come down from the sugar, even if it's just 3 M&Ms, holy fuck. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Well, I don't really have much else to say outside of what I said during the podcast, so I guess that's pretty much it for us here today. Thank you again, Dave. Hopefully, we'll have Rob back on soon. And by the time this time next week, we'll be talking about some Rangers hockey. So that being said, stay tuned. Hopefully, USA wins the gold, and let's go Rangers.